Hey everybody, this is Mr. Walsh, and today we are going to talk about density, and this kind of falls after the measurement stuff, but before we get into the matter stuff. And this is in preparation of the density lab. In science, we have one answer for this question. Why does something float? It's always one answer. Okay, that has something to, buoyancy is something that people will say, but the answer is that something floats because it is less dense than the thing that it's floating in. Okay, so water has a density of 1.00 grams per milliliter, roughly. Okay, so if something has a density like cork of 0.41, this is less than, this is going to float. If you have, say, gold, which has a density of 19.3 grams per milliliter, okay, that is going to sink, okay, in water. Okay, so the reason why something floats is always because the object is less dense than what it is floating in. Okay, most of the time that's water, but there are other liquids that things can float in. You can float in gasoline, alcohol. Okay, so, 98% of the time we're comparing it to the density of water. So this is the formula. Density is mass over volume. Okay, and this is how we got those numbers that I just showed on the last slide. Okay, now mass is the amount of matter, and we measure that in grams. And we do this by using a balance. Okay, if in the lab we have balances, the balances are digital. Okay, so this is very easy to measure, the mass of something. Okay. And then the volume is also pretty straightforward. That's the space that something takes up, and the units are either going to be in milliliters or centimeters, and we measure the volume of something using either length times width times height if it's a regular object. Okay, so if it's like a cube, okay, that would be, you'd measure the length times width times height, and you would get the volume. Or, if it's an irregular object, you would use a graduated cylinder, okay? Because a graduated cylinder, you use the method of what we call water displacement. We did this in the first lab. Okay, so you would do water displacement. Okay, you would find you'd have a graduated cylinder. Okay, you'd find the volume of the water before, put the object in. Okay, the water level will go up, and you find the level of the water after, and the difference between the two is the volume. Okay, so we have mass and volume. This we can find in the lab very straightforwardly, and then this we can find the volume is something that we can find in the lab pretty easily. So sometimes it can be a little tricky if you're going to do water displacement. Now, once you find those values, we have to actually calculate the density. So I use the density triangle to do this. Okay, so this is density, this is mass, and this is volume here. Okay, that's what these stand for. Okay, so what we do is we cover the thing in the triangle. You cover the thing that you're looking for. Okay, so if you're looking for density, you cover this and look at what's left. Mass divided by volume. Okay, and so that's what we do here. And you notice that I rewrote all the formulas here. Okay, you do this, and you have mass divided by volume. Okay, now if you're looking for mass, notice now you have density next to volume. It's almost like there's a multiplication. So in this case, if you're looking, mass is equal to density times volume. Okay, and that's what we have up here. Mass is equal to density times volume. Okay, and then if you're looking for volume, it's going to be mass over density. Mass over density is equal to volume. This is equal to density. Okay, so the triangle is a way for you to see all of these formulas so you know how to calculate whichever value you're looking for. Okay, so the best thing to do is just kind of practice this. Okay, and it says an unknown metal has a mass of 44 grams. So this is a mass and a volume of 15 milliliters. So this is a volume. Okay, so here's the way that I would love for you to solve this. Okay, write density equals mass over volume, and then looking at the formula, this is the correct density equals mass over volume. Okay, so we're not going to do anything to the formula, and now we're going to plug it in. 44 grams divided by 15 milliliters. Okay, and now we're going to get out our calculator, and we're going to do 44 divided by 15, and we're going to get 2.93 grams per milliliter. Okay, we have to keep the unit correct. So now same thing. Okay, milliliters, this is a volume. Okay, this is a volume. Same sort of problem. This, grams, is a mass. Okay, the units tell us what it measures. So we have mass and volume. Okay, if you need to, just put it right in here, mass, volume. And so you're going to notice density equals mass over volume. Okay, and then plug it in. 553 over 148. This is, look, I even got it backwards. Okay, this is a volume, so this is 553. This is a mass, 148. I wrote it right, but I plugged it in wrong. Mistakes happen, that's fine. So we're going to just fix our mistake. 148 divided by 553. Okay. Okay, and now we're going to make sure you use units, grams and milliliter. Okay, and now we do the math. So we'll do 148 divided by 553, and that answer is 0.268 grams per milliliter. Okay. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do another sample. Okay, so this is mass. Okay, and how do I know mass? Because of grams. 12 cubic centimeters. This is a volume. Okay, so 72, 12. Again, density is what we're looking for. What is the density? Is mass over volume. It's 72 divided by 12. 72 divided by 12. And this is grams, and this is cubic centimeters. Okay, and so that's going to be 6 grams per cubic centimeters. I don't need a calculator to do 12 by 72. If you need a calculator, that's fine. I'm not suggesting that, but I just know because 12 inches in a foot and 72 inches is 6 feet. So that's how I was able to get that 6. You're not always going to calculate density. Sometimes you're given the density. Okay, so this is the density, and this is the volume. Okay, and we want to know what the mass. So again, so it's mass, that's the thing we're looking for, is density times volume. So 10.5 times 45. So this is mass equals 10.5 times 45. Okay, this I can't do in my head. So I will do, let's see. Okay, 10.5, how about just 1.5, times 45 is 472.5. And the units of mass is grams. Okay. Nail polish remover has a density, so this is a density. 25 milliliters is volume. We want to know what the mass is. Okay, so density, volume. So now we're going to try to find the mass. So density 0.792, volume 25. Put it right in there. Why not, right? Okay, and so you get mass equals density times volume, which equals 0.792 times 25. And I can't do that in my head, so I will 0.792 times 25. And that's equal to 198. And the units of mass are grams. Okay? This has a mass, this is M, and this is density. Notice I'm writing right on the problem and I'm identifying what the things are. Okay? So mass is 51, density is 3.02, and we're trying to solve for volume. So if we're solving for volume, volume equals mass divided by density, which equals 51 divided by 3.02, which is, okay, so again, I can't do that in my head. 51 divided by 3.02. And this is going to be 116.9. Okay, I'm rounding. And volume, in this case, the volume is cubic centimeters. Okay, so use the triangle. Using the triangle, you can come up with whichever unknown in the equation you want, and we can get that. Okay, so that's the density. Have a great day, everybody.